Hey friends and family, this is SP News Nuggets, and today, you guys, I'm going to share with you a story that happened January the 28th, 2020, about a young man named William Green. He was arrested in Maryland, and you guys, he was arrested and he was handcuffed, and somehow the police officer and him got into some kind of altercation and he was shot dead. I'm going to share that story with you, and we're going to talk about it live at 5 Central Time p.m. But here we go.
Police in Prince George's County, Maryland, say one of their officers responded to 911 calls last night that reported a driver hit several cars in suburban Washington, D.C. The apparent driver was arrested, as this cell phone video shows. Police say he was handcuffed and put into the front seat of a police car with a seatbelt fastened. Both the officer and the suspect were African American. What happened next is now under investigation. Police say the two got into some kind of struggle inside the car, and the man, still wearing handcuffs, was shot several times. He died at the hospital. Relatives identify the man as William Green. His fiancée wants to know how he could have been a threat.
When your hands is behind your back in cuffs and you strap down, you move, handcuffs get tighter and tighter.
Late Tuesday, prosecutors filed a slate of charges against the officer.
I have directed our Special Investigations Response Team to charge Corporal Michael Owen with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and associated weapons charges.
Green's fiancée still wants answers.
I'm hurt. I loved him. He was loved. He didn't deserve that.
Okay, family, I'm going to share with you a picture of Officer Michael Owens. He is African American. He is the officer that is being charged with the death of William Green. And I've got one more clip that I'm going to share with you guys. His family, his daughter, and his son speaks out. And we're going to talk about this case tonight, live at 5 p.m. Central Time. So you guys, I just want you guys to have all the facts, and then I will read you some of the other information. Here we go.
I'm the true definition of a daddy's girl who no longer has her daddy with her. I dreamt of the day that my daddy could be able to walk me down the aisle, and I wanted him to be able to see his future grandchildren, but that day will never come now. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Pleasure. And now from his son.
My name William Little. I don't really have too much to say because it's a lot to process right now. So I'm going to just keep it at that. We miss him, and you know that.
That's the son. Now, what kind of man was he?
Great.
A horrible loss that must be fairly addressed. I am too familiar with these constant police deaths and with this constant police brutality. This has to go down as one of the worst incidents in American history, and it has shocked the nation. It must be stopped. The resources have to be gathered so that these things must be stopped. If it takes an overhaul of how we police, it must be done. If it takes more money to make people safe, it must be spent. So that never again will we see this phenomenon of death after death after death after death after death. The first thing that will happen is that there will be a criminal case. I don't want to talk too much about that because everybody deserves a fair trial. But the next thing that must happen is that this family must be made whole. And the only way we can do that in our system, because we can't bring him back alive, is to compensate them adequately for this horrific loss that they have just suffered. I'll be talking with the county executive about that because that's her bailiwick. And I'll be talking with Aisha Braveboy because the criminal case is her bailiwick. William was a fun-loving, peaceful, non-confrontational lover of everybody. especially his family and his close friends. He always made people laugh. He was the life of every party without being obnoxious or forward. And you couldn't help but interact with him without laughing or smiling because he wanted to spread joy and love to everybody. And all of these people are here today because of their interaction with him and their love for him. This has been the largest extended family to come together this quickly that I've ever seen in my 50 years of practice. Never seen anything like what is standing behind me. And I'm proud to represent this family.
Thank you, Ms. Olson Brooks, and good evening. This is the most difficult moment of my tenure as your chief of police. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate the patience of our partners in the media. But our community knows that when I have the facts, you will have the facts. For the past almost 24 hours, I have remained in constant consultation with members of our Special Investigations Response Team, our Criminal Investigations Division, our Forensic Sciences Division, and our use of force experts. This has been a thorough and exhaustive review of all form and manner of evidence available to us, as well as a review of the preliminary findings of the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner for the District of Columbia. And here are the facts. I am unable to come to our community this evening and provide you with a reasonable explanation for the events that occurred last night. I am unable to come to our community this evening and offer you a reasonable explanation for the events that occurred last night. I have concluded that what happened last night is a crime. And as a result, I have directed our Special Investigations Response Team to charge Corporal Michael Owen with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and associated weapons charges in the death of William Green. I want to, as always, speak on behalf of the hardworking and dedicated women and men of this institution. These actions do not represent them, and they represent the finest that this community has to offer. But I also want to be clear. There are no circumstances under which this outcome is acceptable. And I want to extend my heartfelt sorrow and sympathies to the Green family. You have my assurance that all of our methods and practices will be examined as this investigation proceeds, and I will be looking to independent eyes in the coming days to provide further insight into these circumstances.
Okay, family. So we got some of the information. I want you guys to put this in your hearts, put this in your mind of what happened, what went wrong. This officer took out this young man. His family is speaking out. They don't have too much to say about it. It's just sad that he was handcuffed. So how was he a threat? But this is sad. This is sad. We're going to talk about it live tonight at 5 p.m. Central Time. I hope that you guys come on in the room, chime in on this. We're going to spread the news, what's going on down there in Maryland, you guys, of what happened to this young man and why did it happen. We're going to talk about it, and our condolences go out to this family because I know that they are hurting. This is a loved one that he was under arrest. He hey, his hands was cuffed. I don't know how he was a threat. But anyway, you guys, I will see you tonight live at 5 p.m. Central Time. Please come in the room and let's talk about this situation and what's going on. Because this right here should not have happened. It just should not have happened. Anyway, you guys, be good, be safe, and be nice to each other. Bye.